So my first good guitar I ever got was a Gibson ES-339 back in 2012. I could only afford it because my dad helped me buy it, and it's a really sentimental guitar that I've got. Sentimentality is a really funny thing with instruments though, because I think if I held sentimentality really close to the heart with all my instruments, I would probably never sell a guitar. Each one of them has a story to me. But my 339 I don't think will ever get sold. It's just special. That and it suffered a headstock break back in like 2016, which basically makes it kind of useless on the resale market. Sentimental value with a low resale, I'm probably going to be keeping it forever. An interesting thing with guitars personally is I don't really like to customize them. I don't swap out pickups very often. I won't change the hardware to be an upgraded lighter model or anything like that. I keep it stock. I don't really know why the stock spec matters so much to me, it just kind of does. I guess there's like a consideration of resale value that comes into play a lot of the times. That and a lot of the guitars that I buy are generally pretty nice and have a lot of high-end appointments anyway, so they're all pretty much stock. Really got to the point where I wasn't playing my 339 much. I didn't really like the sound of the pickups, I didn't like the sound of the guitar. I liked the feel though, and it was a really resonant guitar. But I was just kind of growing tired of it, and I think that's what led me to not play it that much. And that's usually when the thought to sell comes up. But the sentimental pushback kind of led me to think I should spec this thing out. I'm going to send it back to a video I recorded before I actually did all these changes to the guitar. This is a couple months ago. I don't think I've gotten a haircut since then, so it's going to look a little different. First thing I do, and the first thing that I think anyone who's somewhat dissatisfied with a guitar would do, is I'm going to change the pickups. Currently, I have the stock Gibson 57 Classic pickups. I think this is a Classic and this is a Classic Plus. Just the run-of-the-mill Gibson humbuckers. But I'm not a big fan of them. I think they sound a little weak. I don't think that they sound right for this guitar. But mainly, I just want new electronics because this guitar has the Memphis tone system installed. Now, there's nothing particularly wrong with this system, it's just the taper is really, really unfortunately quick. For example, I'm just going to play and roll off. Notice that volume drop, and I'm at 7. 6 onward is practically unusable on the guitar volume. And in a performance setting, I don't want to be looking at the numbers. I never look at the numbers. I just want to feel that out. So half volume should feel like half a knob turn to me. Now they say the Memphis tone system is supposed to support more high end as you roll your volume down, but to be honest, I could care less about that. I just want a good working volume system. So a couple of sound clips before we get into the modifications. I'll just play a little bit of clean. The intonation is a little out too. We gave it a little bit of gas. Here's how it sounds. Alright, now I wanted to play a little bit up higher because I wanted you to hear how it somewhat falls apart in the higher register. I'm hoping the new pickups help that. So, that's the guitar. Let's hear what it sounds like after the modifications. So this is what we got. Now the first thing that you're probably noticing is that there's a Bigsby. Now this is a vintage Bigsby B3. Not that the vintage aspect really adds anything, it's about as special as having vintage knobs. So the thing that does actually make this Bigsby kind of special is the down bar that I installed in there. Initially when I put this thing together, I put a Towner down bar on there. Now that's a little gizmo that goes into the holes on the guitar where the initial stop bar was. And it's supposed to add some downward pressure to the Bigsby to make it stay a little bit better in tune. The thing works fine, it does the break angle thing like you'd see on a Bigsby B5 or a B7. However, I also put a roller bar on top of that by this company called Brix Bigs Fix. Now this is a roller bar with ball bearings in it, so it kind of rolls when you do a vibrato. It's pretty good. It adds a little bit more of that downward pressure. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Alex Fink at Fink Instruments, who kind of turned me on to this. He also did some custom work that allowed it to slide right over the down or down bar, and it's been working flawlessly. It's really great. Ultimately, Fink did a lot of the work with the pickups as well, but he really showed me the way in terms of making these Bigsby's sound less like a dog, in his words. The other thing I was excited to get from Bricks Bigs Fix is this low tension spring that goes inside of the Bigsby. It makes the touch of the Bigsby a lot smoother and a lot more pleasant. Ultimately, the pickups were swapped out for a set of Fralin noiseless P90s, which I think suit the guitar a lot better. They're just the standard wound, no overwound, no underwound. I think they sound really good for this guitar, although I don't think they sound exactly like P90s. I think they sound a little bit more like a top-endy humbucker, which is cool too. I also had Fink get rid of that stupid Memphis wiring system, which turns out isn't like a chipset or anything that like Gibson would have done, akin to their like tone shaping technology or whatever that was all the rage back in 2012. No, this was really just a weird way that they wired these guitars that took out all the taper. And now it sounds a lot better, and it's much more of a usable guitar now. I even installed some Fender style strap buttons because those are my favorite, and why not? Think of anything I'd try differently with this guitar, but if you think there's anything that's cool that I could try, let me know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.